Trump, and it's because everyone was comparing him to Hitler. Everyone was saying this guy's like Hitler. Well, why? Well, he was talking about building a border wall, being a strong nationalist, bringing the country together under one leader. I think that we should have a king. Like, I think it's better than democracy that we should have one leader. And anyway,
a king is crazy.
Hi.
True. God, you're right. God runs the world. But I mean, like, on Earth, we need a king to rule the country. And so I was thinking, well, they don't like Trump because it always goes back to Hitler. You can't do this, that, and the other because of Hitler. And I said, well, why is that such a taboo? Because the hammer and sickle, which represents communism killed 100 million. And communism is responsible for horrible atrocities, just the same as the swastika. But the swastika is not accepted anywhere. You know, Stalin, I could sit here and say Joseph Stalin's a great guy. No one's going to care. I say Hitler's great.
Care. That's like a little wild to say.
Well, but you understand it's a different treatment. You know what I'm talking about. And I say, why? And the reason why is because Hitler, they say, had the worst, even though there were other genocides, there were other atrocities, Hitler's was the worst. Why? They say it was the worst because it was technological, industrial. He tried to exterminate a whole group of people.
Let me guess, it was revolutionary.
No, it was just the industrial nature of it. As they said, it was a unique horror in human history. At the same time, they also only talk about one aspect of it. You know, I'm referring to the Holocaust, of course. Did they ever talk about the Polish people that Hitler killed, or the gypsies, or homosexuals, or Catholics?
They do. Not as high, not as like
rare.
But
it's mainly targeted at the Jews.
It's mainly talking about the Jews. But I thought you said you don't believe that people were getting killed.
Well, that's the thing.
You did say that. I was waiting till you get there.
So I'm leading in there. So I'm saying, you know, the reason they say so evil is because of this. And again, other leaders have done atrocities, and other leaders have killed millions, and other leaders have done wars, but they say this guy was uniquely the worst. Why? Technological, and specifically has something to do with the Jews. And I said, well, that's kind of an interesting thing, because we have these Holocaust museums everywhere. It's all over the curriculum. It's all over the schools. It's all over the TVs. As I start to dig into it, and you find that one of the preeminent World War II historians in the history of the world, his name's David Irving. He speaks all the languages, French, German, reads all the source documents in the original language. He's like regarded as the #1 historian, makes millions, sells books, widely esteemed by the whole community. He goes in and says, well, there were attributes about the Holocaust which may not be true. Like, for example, a lot of the Jews that died in these camps, they weren't death camps. He says the people that died there, they died because there was disease spreading in the camps. They died because they were running out of food. As Germany lost the war, they were running out of the means to feed the prisoners. The Allies were bombing the railways that provided the food to the camps. And so when you see these pictures of people being shoveled in and that in the mass graves and things like that, maybe it's not gas chambers. Maybe it's not an extermination. Maybe these were people who still unfairly and in a discriminatory way were locked up for being Jewish, but maybe these technological horrors are exaggerated. Maybe the numbers are exaggerated. This guy gets nuked from orbit. They sue him to pieces. They put together a legal team to go over line by line, every word of his books, and they come up with like a dozen discrepancies. He's made volumes and volumes. They come up with like a dozen things, none of them really important, all of them a matter of interpretation, but they destroy the man's life. And I asked myself, because then I interrogate the subject and I find evidence that maybe the Holocaust isn't as it seems. And then I think about the term, if I go out and say that, I get called a Holocaust denier. What other event is treated this way? If I say the Armenian genocide didn't happen, I mean, people say that. But if you get called an Armenian genocide denier, does anyone even know what that means? Does anyone even give a shit? You get fired from your job? No. Even for that matter, and this is some of the stuff Ye was talking about. Ye said, how many black babies are getting aborted? Mm-hmm. You know, if I don't give a shit about that, I face no repercussion. But if I talk about the Holocaust the wrong way, they come from my head. If I say it's one less than 6 million, they kill me. You lose your job. And so I said, and this is just my thesis, again, food for thought. Is it the case that, you know, every double standard about Hitler, the Nazis, the Holocaust is that way because it's all real? Or is it that way because there's a big industry that's built around that? And insofar as the Holocaust exists, anytime you talk about Jewish media, Jewish slave trade, Israel, Palestine, they say, oh, that's anti-Semitic. You're going to cause another Holocaust. Fired, decapitated, blah, blah, blah. And so I feel like it's a lot more plausible that this is being used to bully people into not talking about certain topics. It's not to say that nothing bad happened. It was a world war, and there were concentration camps on both sides. Germans were put in concentration camps by Eisenhower. America put Japanese in internment camps.
Yes.
Japanese killed Chinese. It was a world war. It was a bloodbath. Horrible things on all sides. But this is the one you can't talk about, and it's because of the victims. That's all I'm saying. And then you get into the war, and that's a whole other topic. But Hitler brings back the German economy, and Germany was like raped basically after World War I don't mean to use that in an insensitive way, but they were really screwed. I mean, they got blamed for the war. They had this huge debt. Their country was destroyed. And it was all because Germany, unified in the late 19th century, became a great industrial power. Anyway, so they got totally screwed over. Hitler comes back and says, we're going to strengthen the currency, rebuild the economy, get total employment. We're going to bring back these ethnic German-speaking parts of Germany that were cut off after World War I in Czech Republic, in Austria. He's the most popular leader in the world, Times Man of the Year. Everybody loves him. Well, then the British and the French declare war on him for trying to take Danzig, which was all German speakers. Hitler goes in there and says, look, all I wanted was Danzig. Let's have peace with Poland. Britain and France declare war. So Hitler goes in, destroys the British army, but lets most of them escape at Dunkirk. Says, look, let's have peace. The war's over. The British say nope. And the British start bombing Germany, which is illegal. They start bombing German cities. They did it first because they knew that Germany would respond. And Hitler says, look, stop bombing my cities. This is illegal. You're killing my people. They keep doing it. So Hitler responds. The British public says, whoa, we're getting bombed by Hitler. All right, let's go to war. This is how you get a world war on your hands.
It's very clear that you are so incredibly educated on this topic, far beyond what I am currently, and probably what I will ever be in my entire life. I'm just not that interested in learning about the history of the Holocaust. But I think there is, I mean, I got to pick what I study, and studying medicine takes up a lot of my time.
Okay, let him finish his point then.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
He wasn't done.
He definitely wasn't done.
Well, I can wrap it up, but
No. Okay. It's fine, Nick, because you're saying a lot of things that a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah.
And
this is very, very true stuff. I mean, look up the Versailles Agreement if you guys don't believe them about Germany getting destroyed after World War I. If you don't believe Eisenhower killing a bunch of Germans, he did it as well. This is all true. Sorry, continue on.
Well, and here's the big picture.
And then we'll turn it to you ladies to debate it after if you disagree.
Yes. The big picture is this. The narrative history of World War II still affects our political discourse. That's the big picture. We're still talking about World War II. It still matters. And it's foundational for so much of the stuff we believe about the international community, about how the international community works, about rights, liberalism, all these kinds of things. And so there's a vested interest in what we believe about World War II, because if we didn't believe certain historical narratives about World War II, maybe we wouldn't believe in certain other things. That argument that we can't have Trump because he's Hitler-like suddenly evaporates. Suddenly there's not as much of a good argument for it. We could keep going through the history about it, about the Soviet Union being ready to invade Europe. This is called the Suvorov hypothesis. Yeah, everybody says that back in the day, Hitler betrayed Stalin and Stalin was duped. Maybe you guys don't know, but the Soviet Union is like this massive military power. They're communist. And then the story goes something like this. Hitler signs a truce with Stalin, and Hitler betrays Stalin and goes in and invades, and Stalin's totally caught off guard and gets screwed by this. There was a hypothesis that emerged 30 years ago that says, actually, Stalin was not duped. Stalin was preparing for war for 20 years to take over all of Europe. He was preparing. They knew, for example, that he was preparing to cross the British Channel or the English Channel and invade England because he was building amphibious tanks that could cross water. So when Hitler goes in and invades Russia, it's not that Stalin was unprepared. It's that he was building offensive units, not defensive units. Stalin was ready to take over all of Europe until Hitler preempted him by invading first. And so looked at one way about World War II is that Hitler saved Europe from Stalin. Because, of course, Stalin comes in after World War II, takes over all of Eastern Europe, builds the Iron Curtain, and subjects them to basically communist slavery for half of a century. That would have been the fate of all of Europe if Hitler hadn't militarized and gone after the Soviet Union. So anyway, that's why I think Hitler's unfairly maligned. You know, and I'm not in like the fan club or anything, but like this stuff's important because of how it affects American politics.
You know,
Anybody have anything for that?
Thank you for the history.
thank you
I
for
think
that history.
It is important to
I'll leave
know
it.
the history.
That was so much.
All right, literally,
Where do I want to stay? Where do I want to start?
I think there's a difference.
Anybody have anything for that one?
This is not their.
Honestly, I
you
have
wanna go?
some answers
Expertise.
quick.
I just feel
Do you
like
wanna go?
it's more than
March.
what it's being said right here.
Okay, what more is there?
Like,
Go ahead.
y'all don't know my intake on Hitler.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
When he was killing people, he was looking for something, like in the people. He was looking for something, which I don't think he was looking towards the right race.
Oh, who should have he been killing then?
His people.
Oh,
I'm not gonna speak on that. Though.
Wait, what? It's okay. We're on Rumble. Say what
Yeah,
you
yeah,
want. Go
yeah.
ahead.
You're safe
I
here.
might think I'm crazy.
No,
Like,
go ahead.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
this is your time to shine, girl.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Open ears for this.
I don't really care about this because I don't live by the world. I live by the word. That's two different.
Okay.
If I live by the word, I'm not worried about this. Like, I didn't come here for this.
Okay.
But they just,
Do you mean in the Bible?
yeah, I live by
okay.
the word.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna just say there's theories like they say. I'm not saying it's true. White people are aliens.
oh my goodness gracious.
It's serious. I didn't say it's true.
I'm not.
The hell is going on right now,
I'm
bro?
so serious. I read, like, I watch
It's
stuff.
humble. Come on, man.
And they never found. They never
What's
found. They never found Hitler's body either.
Just give her a second.
That's
Just give her a
true. They
second.
did not find his
So-
body. It was his doppelganger.
Hold on. Okay. So I just want to make sure I have this right. So the conclusion is that white people are aliens.
I mean, I'm going by what I read. It kind of made sense when I was watching it. It like made sense in my head.
You know,
I
bro,
think
white
that,
people do
like-
got low IQ, man. No, she's really brought your IQ down, man.
That's only because you live by the world and I live by the word. That's the only reason.
So you think white
believe
people are a celestial
Where-
being?
Where?
that.
hold on.
This is not my world. I don't belong here. I'm just residing.
Please tell me where the
Period.
word
Just
says that
let you know
you're
that.
alien.
Yeah, actually,
I'm
you're very
not.
religious, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not an alien.
I didn't say where. I just said in there.
Honey, are you religious?
Yeah, I am.
Honey, I
Okay.
am confused.
I am a terrestrial being. Okay, I'm
I
an
mean,
earthling.
God. I know God wasn't white. That's all I'm gonna just say.
Take it to your people.